This Mythbuster show is brought to you by Lastenoikeudet, Children's Rights, a leading organization in the Nordics based in Finland, which is said to be the happiest nation in the world. My name is Angel, and today we are going to bust some of the popular myths that we have in our societies today regarding the most valuable resource on our planet. That's right, you guessed it, our children. These myths are the driving force behind our laws and legislation, our courts and judicial systems, our state government and ministries of health and education, and also agencies like child protection. Right now, children in Finland make up 1/5 of the country's population. And we have a large part of this next generation of nearly 56% of divorced families growing up without having their fathers be present in their lives. And the sad thing is that this is not because these fathers don't want to be with their children, but it's because the current systems that we have in place with the courts and the social workers who make living conditions and parental assessments part of the pre-court procedures do not allow children the right to be with their fathers. Courts are favoring mothers as a primary caregiver by 87%. We are talking about Finland, a country that boasts of equality. And in many ways, we are very progressive when it comes to equality. But somehow, in this area of the rights of parents, and especially of the rights of children to be with their parents, we are somehow very lacking. It was only in 2015 that fathers got the rights to be with their biological children. Before that, mothers had automatic rights to children born out of wedlock, and also automatic custody. Only in the end of 2019 did shared parenting become recognized in Finland's legislation. Even though the numbers and statistics are not totally clear yet, it is estimated that between just 10 to 15% of divorcing parents in Finland end up with children taking turns living with both parents. This is in drastic comparison with Sweden, where more than half of children spend equal time with both their fathers and their mothers. Then to add to this grand confusion of our legislation, child psychiatrist Jari Sinkkonen, who often refers to Mavis Hetherington, another divorce voice, has said on Finland's national TV channel Yle that parents should pack their bags once a week and switch homes if they think it's so nice. Jari Sinkkonen has also said that shift living can only work if parents live close to each other, get along with each other, and the child is over the age of 6. Malin Bergström is a child psychologist and scientist at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden. Bergström's research has received international media attention with Time magazine, Yahoo Parenting, Radio Canada, the world's most read online media outlet, the Daily Mail, and Science Daily, just to name a few. Malin Bergström is a specialist in studies concerning the effect of child custody arrangements after divorce or separation. And to make these studies effective in their findings, the research has used cross-sectional and longitudinal study design done over a long period of time after parents have been divorced and separated. Malin Bergström also serves as the Vice President for the International Council on Shared Parenting. Myth number 1. In your expert opinion, as a child psychologist and scientist having researched 172,000 children, Malin Bergström, is shared parenting stressful for children? And do parents need to live close to each other or children be over the age of 6 in order for shared parenting to work?
I want to start by saying that these expert opinions regarding children's age, the tone between the parents, how far away or how close parents need to live, to me, these seem to be based in opinions that were really common in Sweden 10 or 15 years ago. So I recognize them. And as I have understood it, they are more based on theoretical thinking or feelings regarding what we wish for our children than relying on the actual data that we have seen during these last 10 years from our research group and from many others internationally. And what we had an opportunity to do 10 years ago was to access data on every child in Sweden who then were in grade 6 or grade 9, which means that they were 12 and 15 years old. So it was a total population study, which of course is really good for a researcher to have access to that type of data. And one of the questions, and I would say my primary question was, how stressful is it? Because when I, as a child psychologist, had been working with the children, what they told me when they were moving back and forth was that they forgot things like your hairbrush. They found it hard if the parents didn't help them with the suitcases and so on. So that was what I knew. But I also knew as a child psychologist that having your parents on an everyday basis is absolutely crucial to children, because that is what parenting is about. Not doing exotic things every once in a while, but actually being present in your child's life. So we got the data and we looked at stress, and we compared children who were living in what we call intact families, which means that their parents are still living together or being married. And we compared those children with children who were living in joint physical custody, which means every second week in their parents' respective homes. And also two other groups of children who were living mostly with one parent, and that was most often the mother. And that would probably be the type of access Finnish children in general have to their fathers. And then we have this group of children who were only living with predominantly their mother and just seeing very little of their second parent. So we were comparing stress between these groups. And stress in research, we use psychosomatic symptoms in children as a proxy for stress. So we were asking children, how is your sleep? Do you feel sad or happy during the days? Do you feel burdened? Do you feel anxious? Do you have any physiological symptoms like stomach aches or back aches or dizziness? So symptoms of stress. And what we found was that they were nearly as little stressed as children who were living with both their parents in an intact families, while children who were living mostly or only with one parent, and most oftenly the mother, were suffering from so much more stress. And these were numbers that really differed. So finding out that, we had to understand, why is it so? How comes stress from moving and living in two neighborhoods, two different family environments? How can that be less stressful for children than losing everyday contact with one parent? And to understand it, we just had to go back to developmental psychology and our knowledge about children, and understand that parenting really is important, and losing one parent, and most oftenly the father, that is so difficult for children. And so moving houses is so much less compared to that.